and today we speak about the Haimer shrinking technology, and so let's start.
Absolutely, we shouldn't lose any time, and yeah, today's topic is shrinking technology, one system for all applications. And as you can see here on this tool rack, there is different geometries, different systems, different solutions, extensions and so on. So there's a big variety of applications with the shrinking technology, but actually it comes out of the die and mold industry, and today it is very much used in all different industries where it's about high performance and high precision machining. Why is it that popular today, Robert?
You're right. Meanwhile, the shrinking technology is one of the most common interfaces in the milling process because it has a lot of important advantages, and one of the important advantages is the flexibility of this system. So this system allows to use for very different lengths, very slim outlines, and also the revolution was with the inductive shrinking technology. And therefore, Haimer decided 20 years ago a very high-powered shrinking technology what allows to use also shrink extensions and this kind of slim system in different variations what allows a very flexible using in the milling process.
Flexibility, big advantage of course, but of course also our customers and the users of the shrinking technology, they like also other advantages. How about the accuracy, runout?
Yes, also the accuracy, especially the runout accuracy, is very important in the milling process, and therefore the Haimer shrinking technology, we guarantee less 3 microns runout, and just by pushing a button for a few seconds for the tool changing, we guarantee the runout and also the clamping of the tool shank in the shrink chuck. So we have 360 degrees clamping around the shank to have a very good support for the clamping forces and also for different interfaces, machining interfaces. So we have for every machine interface, it starts HSK 25 to up to HSK 125, BT30, cut 50. So we have for every interface, we can provide the shrinking solution in very different lengths from standard, from stock. And so we are very flexible and for the customer what he can use.
How about the raw material? This is a very important fact.
Yes, also for the material, Haimer have a special development, made special development about the material to provide to the customer the maximum of quality. So therefore we have a special material for the shrinking tool holders what can provide this process stability, and also we have complete system. That means it's not just the shrink chuck, it's get over to the shrink unit, to the presetting device, to balancing. So Haimer provide a complete system of tool holding. This is one of the biggest advantages.
But let's stay with this raw material first. We have prepared a live demo for you, so we will now compare the Haimer holder, the Haimer power chuck against a non-magnetic holder, and we will see what the performance will be.
Okay, thanks. And the first one is the Haimer power shrink chuck in length 160 millimeters with the end mill of diameter 12. So you can hear a clean milling noise without vibrations. So this results from the unique outer geometry of the Haimer tool holder, which dampens the vibration. So now in comparison, a shrink holder made of stainless steel. Yes, despite the stable outer contour of this tool holder, we had very strong vibrations in the process. Of course, this has a negative impact on tool life.
So now we could see the comparison of a Haimer holder against a non-Haimer holder, and it was running on a 5-axis machine, so shrinking technology is very popular in 5-axis milling. But how about these modern milling strategies like dynamic milling? Is shrinking technology used in dynamic milling also?
Of course, especially in dynamic milling or 5-axis machining, the shrinking technology is very common in this milling processes, because also here you can use the, or you have the big advantage of the shrinking process. Start with the run-out accuracy, also with the stiffness of the tool holder, with the possibility of tool clamping, and of course, in the past, a lot of customers are using side lock tool holders, especially for the
security.
For security, of course. Therefore, Haimer developed a special system. It's called Safe Lock. That means with the Safe Lock system, this like you can, it's like a thread what you screw in the cutting tool into the tool holder, and by cool down, it's for 100% fixed in the holder that there is no pull out is possible. Also, to provide more milling performance, Haimer developed also some kind of cooling, some kind of periphery cooling that's called cool jet. There are cooling bores what splash water in the direction of the cutting edge, and also the high-end solution is our cool flash. With the cool flash, the coolant get around the shank, the cutting tool shank, and splash to the blades. And this is the high-end cooling if the customer have not a cutting tool with internal coolant.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it's a whole system what Haimer offers in this regard. But there is, of course, not only the shrinking holder, but also, of course, the shrinking machine, which is very important to have a consistent shrinking process, and then the process for the machine tool itself. So I think we should have a look on our Haimer Power Clamp Comfort i4.0 machine and have a short demo.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start. So, I just got a cut protection glove to show you the Power Clamp i4.0 with a motorized coil. It's a very easy system because it's just necessary to scan the data matrix code, and the coil with the motor inside will position automatically to the right setting. So the operator just have to move down the coil, push the button for a few seconds, and shrink in the cutting tool. Immediately display show you which cooling body you have to use. So you turn it to the back side, put on the cooling body, and immediately the red LED show you that the cooling starts already. In the meantime, you can go on with shrinking of the next tool holder or shrink chuck. So of course, again, scan the data matrix code. The coil will be adjusted automatically, so the operator don't have to think about coil, special coil setting. Just move down the coil, push the button, and shrink in or out the cutting tool. Also here you get the information on the screen and the information on the cooling body that the cooling already started. Within the time, on the first shrink chuck you see the LED is blinking now, and this means that the temperature in the cooling body get meanwhile below 30 degrees Celsius. And if you use the Haimer Shrink system with Haimer Shrink chuck, that means you can immediately use the shrink chuck.
Thank you, Robert, for this nice demo on the machine. Very often the question is, how many times is it possible to heat up and cool down the Haimer holders?
Yeah, many customers ask us this question, and it's an easy answer: endless, because we have a specific material and make also a specific development. And with the Haimer process, that means with the Haimer Shrink chucks and the Haimer shrinking technology, everything is specified. The parameters are specified for the shrink chucks, and with the whole system, you have very high secure process, and so that's an easy way for the tool changing with this all advantages.
Okay, and is it possible actually if customers have still tool holders of other manufacturers, is it possible to shrink also these holders?
Of course, it is possible because there is also a DIN standard what show the outline of the standard shrink chuck. So these standard shrink chucks are able to use with our machine without any problems, but to get the complete or get the whole advantage of the Haimer Shrink system, we recommend, of course, the Haimer Shrink chucks because we have also very or many different types of shrink chucks for the specific milling process, and then the customer gets the complete advantage of the Haimer system.
Okay, you just talked about these different geometries that we have, and we would like now to have a live demo again on the machine, and we would like to see a comparison of a power mini shrink against a regular mini shrink holder from Haimer, and just to see what is the performance of the geometry of this holder, we give directly back to the machine.
Okay, let's start with the mini shrink holder. This has a 3 degrees outer contour for best accessibility in difficult areas on the workpiece. And we make a cut of depth of 0.4 millimeters. So the second one. So the slim shape limits the cutting parameters, especially the depth of cut. But again, there is no other choice for best accessibility on the workpiece. So now we compare it with our power mini shrinkage holder. So we have more mass in the back. Similar cutting conditions. So this allows us higher cutting parameters without vibrations and thus a higher productivity. Yeah, and with the use of this solution, a semi-finishing cut can be saved, and with this a lot of machining time.
So now we saw different Haimer chucks in comparison, but of course we also have different shrink machines in our program. So starting with the low-end nano horizontal machine up to the high-end models like the premium i4.0 and also the VO linear tool shrink, which combines shrinking and presetting in one machine. So that's a very unique system, and I think we should have a quick look at these machines, Robert.
Okay, can do.
Okay.
So here we are at our premium i4.0 machine, our shrink unit was a premium class. So it's a very massive machine with linear guided cooling bodies with our NG coil. In this time I show you the manual NG variable coil, and the function is similar to the motorized coil. You can scan with a DPM scanner the data matrix code, and in the menu will shown how to set the coil. So I just turn it to position number 3 and the coil will adjust it automatically in height and diameter. So you just move down the coil, push the button for a few seconds to shrink in or shrink out the cutting tool. And the cooling body is already blinking what you have to use. Move down the cooling body for cooling. The red light shows you that the cooling body detected already the shrink chuck and started the cooling. Meantime, you can also go on with the next shrink chuck. You can use the scanner to scan the shrink code, adjust the coil, move down the coil, push the button for a few seconds. And also here you get the information which cooling body you have to use. Move down the cooling body for cooling. And for this machine you have up to 5 places for cooling. So you can also use a manual mode, manual system in the software. It's easy to choose the shrink parameter. So every Haimer Shrink chuck since 10 years has the shrink code on it. And here we have an easy menu to choose the correct shrink parameter. Here you get the information to set the coil to the correct position. Also move down coil, push the button. And get out the cutting tool. And also here you get information which cooling body you have to use, and with the linear guide cooling bodies it's a pretty good system for the safe cooling and also protection very small cutting diameters or PCD cutting tools. So in the meantime, the first cooling bodies show you the red blinking signal, and this show you if you use Haimer Shrink chucks, the cooling process is finished and you can go on with shrink chucks put into the machine or whatever. So here we have our view linear tool shrink. This is a combination machine between presetter and automatic shrink machine. That means also with a motorized coil, what will be automatically set to the specific length. Here I show you how easy you can shrink in a tool. There we have specific menu, it's called Quick In. That means here you can choose the scanner to scan the shrink chuck, to load from the database. Then all settings are shown in the menu, and to start the shrink process just push the button. Now the coil will be adjusted automatically, move down, started heating. Also in the meantime the pin from the lower side get in position. The pin is important for the presetting, and here we have a combination with shrinking and measuring, so you can see the measuring value during the shrinking process or the cooling process. So after heating you put in the tool and immediately it shows you the value and also the cooling body you have to use. You put on the cooling body and you can see after a few seconds when the system checked the temperature, you can see the actual temperature in the PC and can follow on the PC when the temperature of 27 degrees Celsius is reached. And so you can see also in the meantime how the gauge lengths get down, because it's normal when you have a hot tool holder, then during the cooling the material shrinking a little bit, and this you can follow on the monitor. So when the cooling process is finished, it shows you the green signal from the cooling body and also the information on the monitor about the reached value. Our target was 165 millimeter and we reached it up to 3 micron. So with this machine you have the possibility to shrink in to a specific length, plus minus 5 microns. And also you have the possibility to use RFID technology, so that it's not every time necessary to have a data matrix code or something like that on the shrink chuck. It's also possible to work with actual technology with RFID, with specific systems. We have possibility to have all different RFID systems, and here you can store this value directly on the chip and get into the machine and start working immediately after the shrinking process.
Nice demo, Robert. We could see how easy it is to set the tools to the right length and in such a high accuracy on this violinear tool shrink. But who needs this accuracy?
Especially this accuracy is necessary for specific customers what have a high automation, especially for automatized milling centers or multi-spindle machines. It is very important that the set of the tool is every time the same. And this accuracy is necessary that also the machine have no problems with the milling process, that all tolerances can be reached, and to have also no downtime of the machining.
Of course, it's all about productivity, green light machining. We give back to our application team and we will have a look into the machine again, comparing a standard and a power shrink holder from Haimer. So it's a 160 millimeter tool holder and it is run on a powerful 5-axis milling machine.
Okay, we start with the standard shrink chuck HSK 100 interface, diameter 16, length 160 millimeters, and the first step is 1 millimeter width of cut. And we always increase the width of cut by 1 millimeter and compare the milling noise. So as we can hear, the 2 millimeter side step is the limit for the standard shrink chuck. Now we will switch to our power shrink chuck and repeat the process, the similar cutting data, and compare the milling noise. And we will start again with 1 millimeter width of cut and increase always by 1 millimeter. Compare the milling noise. So as we can hear, we have the same milling noise with every side step. So the result is a much higher productivity with the power shrink chuck and also the best process reliability. So the power tool holder pays for itself after a short time. Yeah, just because of the high productivity of the tool holders.
Okay, we could see higher metal removal rate, more productivity, and this could be achieved only by changing to a Haimer power shrink holder. So right now we compared different shrink holders with each other, but of course, Robert, there is conventional systems also in the market, and we will have now a look to another machining process comparing different conventional clamping systems with each other.
Okay, thanks. And now we will compare the 4 different tool clamping solutions. The first one is the Haimer heavy-duty shrink chuck equipped with safe lock or against pull-out or as a pull-out protection. Then the second one is the Weldon tool holder, so the side lock. The third one is the hydraulic chuck, and the last one is a milling chuck. So in every tool holder we have a 4-flute cutter, diameter 16, and we will machine this like a wave, and we will also change the width of cut from 1 to 9 millimeter and just compare the milling noise or the milling sound and the surface finish quality. So now we switch into the machine and start with the heavy duty shrink pit holder. So we have a smooth milling sound. So the next one is the well done tool holder, so the side lock. So we can hear some vibrations. So the next one is the hydraulic chuck. Again, the same cutting parameters. So now we have a lot of vibrations. So in the last one is the milling chuck. And again we can hear vibrations. Later on we will compare the surface finish quality. So yes, it's with each mechanical connection the tool clamping loses its rigidity, and the next slide will be the deflection, and yeah, this is just reflected in the deflection. And as already mentioned by the colleagues, the shrink technology is also ideally suited for heavy machining applications, for example some super alloys like titanium, Inconel, yeah, just to name a few. So Haimer has the right tool holder for all challenges with safe lock or cool flash on request, so always the optimal tool clamping for your machining task. So the high rigidity, runout accuracy and balancing quality of the Haimer Shrink technology result in the best tool life and process reliability. So this is an extremely important factor, especially in unmanned shifts.
So big differences in the milling performance, but Robert, also outside of the machine tool, of course, in the handling and so on of the different systems, there's big differences. Can you explain a little bit?
Of course, also there we have a lot of differences, and here we see also the big advantages of the shrinking technology, because with the shrinking technology you reach the 3 microns runout by pushing a button only for a few seconds, and for the other clamping systems it is sometimes possible you have different, you reach different torques, especially for collet systems. It is very important to have stable torque by clamping the collet. Also the dirt, there are a lot of different influences what create also some different situations in torque and run out. Also the maintenance, other systems is they are necessary. You have to make a specific maintenance during a time, during after time. Therefore, the customer cannot use these tool holders in that time of maintenance. And also, especially for the side lock system, you have a very bad runout. And if you think that a new cutting tool, high performance cutting tool, needs this a good runout, because nobody wants to use only 2 blades or 4.
Yeah, of course, always a matter of productivity, but in terms of shrinking technology, it's also necessary for the customer to invest, first of all, in a peripheral peripheral machine, so in a shrink machine. So that, of course, means also cost at the first step. When does it pay off?
Yeah, you're right, but therefore we have a big range of different machines for the customer. So the customer can decide, especially for this machine, this machine, what fit the best to the customer, and normally the machine is paid within 6 to 9 months.
Okay, so and for your needs, so for your individual calculations, we are able to make return on investment calculations. So please ask us, come back to us, ask our service and application or sales team, and we will do a calculation of your ROI on your specific machine that you like to have. Okay, Robert, thank you. So far we did some nice explanations on the shrinking technology, but one thing we forgot so far, so we got also some more applications on the shrinking side now. So we could have many milling applications now that we had a look on, but this system here, it's called the shrink collet technology. We could also use in the turning machines on driven spindles or on driven tools. So I would ask you to please introduce this system, to explain it a little bit, and also we have the right peripheral machine, so the right shrink machine for the use of this, these collets. So I would give it to you, and please give us a demo.
Okay, let's talk. Now we are here at our shrink collets. We have a very high volume of different sizes, lengths and diameters, and to use this big range of collets, it is necessary to have a safe system, and therefore we are using our PowerClamp i4 series shrink units. Therefore we have two new designs. What I want to show you now, it's at once the PowerClamp Nano NG i4.0. It's a horizontal shrink unit with motorized coil and contourless air cooling. And the other one is the PowerClamp Air i4.0. We have in two versions. It's once the comfort version and the economic version. The comfort version with motorized coil and also with contourless air cooling, what I want to show you now. Our collets are prepared with a small kind of thread, what we are using to put the collet on the chuck support. And so the collet is fixed on the chuck support for easy handling. To choose the parameter, I use the barcode scanner, and the coil will be adjusted automatically. So it's a very easy handling for the operator. Just push the button for a few seconds and shrink in or out the cutting tool. To cool down, we have a separate contourless air cooling system. The red light shows you that the cooling process is actually running, and also you get a countdown in the display to see, okay, how long is the cooling taken, or how long I have time to prepare the next shrink chuck. So with this shrink unit, you can use also standard shrink chucks, all Haimer shrink chucks we provide. So you can just use the display or the scanner to choose another parameter. Also the coil will be adjusted in the meantime to prepare the new shrink unit for the next shrinking cycle. Also it is possible to use a length setting, so we have a presetting unit here as option to set the length with the stop here, or you can use the presetting function with the chuck support with the pin inside to put the tool on the specific length. When the cooling is finished, it will signalize with the green LED, and also we have a temperature sensor inside what checks the shrink collet or the shrink chuck if after the cooling process everything is safe and cold, and so you can take off the shrink chuck, or as you call it, put into the machine and start go on working.
Thank you, Robert, for the nice demo. So we now have really seen big variety of applications, turning, milling, and so on. So now we are, of course, here for you, for your questions. We would like to give you answers on every single question, and we give back now to our moderation team. And thanks, Robert, for joining us this time.
You're welcome.
And thank you for listening.
Dear participants, thank you, Tobias. So we are right back, and now we are going to start our question-answer part. I would like to ask our experts to come and join me with their webcams so that I can ask you the questions our participants have sent in the chat. Okay, I can see Konstantin. Can you see me as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I can see the whole team now. Hi, Tobias. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so thank you for joining us with your webcams. Now you're the experts. We have some questions here. Let me start. One participant wrote in the chat, we are using a cooling system where the tool holders are cooled with water. What is the advantage of your contact cooling method? Maybe Robert, would you like to start?
Yes, the water cooling system is very aggressive cooling. That means who want to make everybody ice bucket challenge. The advantage of the Haimer cooling system is that everything is clean and also is a very quick cooling and a safe, sensitive cooling. Also, advantage is that in the meantime of the cooling, you can go on working. That means you have no waiting time on the machine that the cooling is finished. And also after the cooling, everything is clean. And so there is no water on the holder, what you have to spray with compressed air or dry with any other things. So at least it's a pretty safe, sensitive, quick, and clean solution.
Okay, thank you. Another question regarding our upgrades, also the cool flash cooling and the safe lock. How about shrinking with safe lock and cool flash? Do you have to pay attention to something there, Robert?
No. No, you don't have to take a look for any special settings. It's just a standard shrinking. You don't have to take care about the cool flash or cool jet system. It's just for the safe lock. You should use to turn in the cutting tool like a thread, but this is pretty simple, and also with the specified thread, it's very easy to put the tool in, and so there is no special things you have to know.
Okay, thank you. Konstantin,
Sorry, Julia.
Yes?
I'd like to add in this case to Robert's answer. It's also a big advantage that if you compare cool flash, then you have still the same outer geometry, and for your CAD/CAM system, it's a big advantage. You don't have to program it very new, so the outer geometry of a cool flash holder is exactly the same as the geometry of a standard holder. So this has big influence, and you don't have to do additional work on programming.
Okay, thank you.
I have also some additional stuff to Robert's question. About the when you compare the two different cooling types of to cool down the tool holder. Yeah, so the shower. With the shower, for example, when you cool it with water, just water, not contact cooling, you will or you have mostly a container where you collect all this water and you have a closed circle of this water. Yeah. So that means if you just use one tool holder from one machine tool, just change your tool, cool it down with this shower, then you have all the bacteria from one machine inside this container. Then you have maybe another tool holder from another machine tool. You use the same shrink fit unit again and carry all this bacteria to another machine tool. And with this, there is a big possibility just to destroy the whole coolant. And it is like of 500 liters, for example. That's why the contact cooling is also the best solution to cool down a shrink fit holder. Yeah.
All right. These are clear advantages.
Robert?
Konstantin.
It's okay? Are you okay with
there another? Okay.
Sure.
Something more to add? No, let's go on. We have some more questions. Konstantin, there's a question. My previous information about shrinking was that it only makes sense for finishing operations. Can I process all materials with this technology?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we saw already in the last live demo where we compared the 4 different clamping or tool clamping technologies, that the shrink fit technology nowadays has a huge, and especially we as Haimer we have a huge range of a lot of different tool holders. It doesn't matter if it's for finishing, for really heavy roughing operations in titanium Inconel. So as I explained already, so just you can machine everything. Yeah, we have this pull-out protection, so the safe lock to avoid pull-out of a cutting tool. So in much cases, or a lot of cases in aerospace industry, for example, you have a big part, just the material, the raw material is maybe 500 kilograms of titanium, and this material is really expensive. And just by have a small pull-out of your cutting tool by 0.2 millimeters, you can just destroy the whole workpiece and a lot of money. Yeah, that's why for every application we have the right tool holders. It doesn't matter. It's not the let me say in the past the image of the shrinking technology just to use it for easy applications or just for finishing applications. There are much more possibilities right now. So just again for heavy machining, for finishing, of course, for 5-axis machining. So it's not just only for finishing anymore.
And there was a question: Can I shrink any tool?
Yes, you can. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Look, you need just to think about just one topic, and it is the shank diameter of your cutting tool. It should be tolerated in H6. That should be the tolerance of your shank, and it doesn't matter if it's an HSS tool, so and made of steel, or a solid carbide end mill. So you can use just each or every tool. Yeah.
And that was exactly, Julia, sorry, this question I just that popped up. It is like shrink fit holders can shrink steel shank tools also. I think that's a question that popped up in addition now. If we can, how much hardness HRC need to be? So it's not a matter of hardness, it's a matter of the shank precision of the cutting tool, as Konstantin explained before.
Yeah, of course, it shouldn't be a steel tube, for example, with a wall thickness of 1 millimeter. You will just, there are really high clamping forces inside with a lot of tons. Yeah, so it should be a piece of steel made of steel or solid carbide. And again, hardness is not so really important. It should be just the tolerance of the shank diameter should be minimum H6.
Okay. That also tolerance. Did we also mention the biggest possible tool diameter? That was also asked.
Robert,
would you like to reply?
The tool diameter. So For shank tool diameter, we are able to shrink from the small 3 mm shank up to 32 with the standard coil, and with our 13 kilowatt heavy duty coil, we can shrink up to 50 mm shank diameter, and also blade diameter up to 90 mm.
Okay, yes, that answers it. And you can also, you have possibilities to shrink at a certain length. Could you explain once again how you do that?
Yes, therefore we have different possibilities for the length presetting. So that means at once we have the high gauge, as shown, or as you have seen already at the machines, where you have the stop on the top of the tool. Then we have different possibilities. Of course, the simplest one is to use the thread, the set screw in the shrink chuck, but also we have possibility with a kind of pen from the lower side to adjust the stop inside of the shrink chuck, or we have a possibility, it's called easy set, where you have adjust the set of the length what the tool looks out of the shrink chuck. But therefore, I think I recommend to get in touch with our or with your local dealer or with the local Haimer office to show you the different possibilities what we can provide, and you will see how easy it is to make a length setting also with the shrinking.
Yes, at this point, I'd like to add, of course, you can use the chat or the questionnaire appearing after our webinar session to ask Haimer to contact you. For example, if there is a question of length settings or something, we will keep in touch and answer your questions. More questions coming from the chat. Maybe Konstantin, we have seen different types of tool holders in comparison. And that's the question, where do you see the advantages of a shrink fit chuck compared to a hydraulic chuck?
Yeah, look, it's at the end it's an easy question, easy answer. So I have just a tool wagon here. When we look at this tool assembly, for example, so we have the tool holder, it's one part, then we have the shrink fit extension is one part, and we have the cutting tool. So we have just two connections. The mostly mechanical chucks, it doesn't matter, it's hydraulic or milling chucks or collet chucks, you have a collet inside, then you have maybe an extension and again a collet inside, and with every connection and with every additional part, you lose your rigidity on your tool clamping. That's really important, and of course, you will lose the balance quality at the end, at the cutting edge. That's the problem. That's the biggest advantage, really the biggest advantage in the shrink fit technology. And you are really universal. You can maybe shrink in another extension inside and just extend your cutting tool.
In the chat just came the question about the clamping force we will get of a shrink fit holder. Can you say that in general? Maybe Robert, do you know the answer? What about the clamping force?
So we provide, or we can provide different clamping forces. It also depends on the outline of the shrink chuck. So we have standard shrink chucks, mini shrink chucks, heavy duty chucks. So, but at least we are able to provide more than 500 Newton meter clamping torque in specific diameter. But therefore, I think it's also, I recommend you please get in touch with your dealer, because we have also specified or special spreadsheets what show you which clamping force we can provide for which diameter and which kind of outline.
Okay, yes, I would also suggest to our participants that your questions concerning the product range, if there are certain sizes available, write in the chat, write us your questions, and that we will answer individually. So there have been some more. Yes?
Yes, I would like to answer a question out of the chat. Is the shrink collet works in the dual lock system? So can we integrate this in the CNC lathe too? Of course, the shrink fit collets, they have the similar shape like our dual lock collet, or the similar shape outside, so outer contour, as a standard collet. So you need just, for example, a driven unit with the ER cone inside for ER collets, and you can just assemble it with and fit in the shrink fit collet, clamp it with your cutting tool and use it. So there is nothing special what should be considered.
Okay, so thanks. Time is running a bit. We have also some questions regarding our webinar program. So Tobias, you're our host, our show master. Maybe you can tell us, some participants are curious to know if there will be more webinars soon, and there have been suggestions as well. For example, our participants would like to hear more about the presetter we saw in the background, the Violinia tool shrink. So Tobias, what will be our next webinar topic, and what's coming up?
Well, we presented in brief the Violinia tool shrink with this quick in functionality, so which was really a brief demo. And for those who are really curious about to know more about our presetter range, our next webinar will be about presetting technology, so the Haimer microset line, and especially also about digitization, how easy it is to get data, and especially the tool data to the machine tool, and which necessities we have, what we need to prepare for this, how it works with post processors, and so on. But also, of course, the accuracy of these presetting machines will be a topic in our next webinar, which will take place exactly in 3 weeks from today. And we will invite, of course, everybody again for this next session. And we will prepare more and more webinars for our customers, and we will keep you posted on this, of course.
Yes, that's what we will do. Last but not least, I promised a surprise in the beginning. So Tobias, I think there has been a new product idea you would like to introduce us to.
Yes, absolutely. Especially at the current days we have with this coronavirus. Everybody was claiming that there is not enough material, and especially masks and so on, for for protecting ourselves. And at Haimer we invested now in a big mold. So we invested in a mold to make our own face shields, made by Haimer, made here in Igenhausen. So this is injection molded by Haimer. We have our 2 injection molding machines running now, and we are preparing and producing these face shields now for production. So it's easy. You can take, for example, the head off for eating, for drinking, and if you want to breathe fresh air, of course, and you still have, and you have really a good view with this face shield. It protects you against splashes and so on, water. And especially in production, I think this can be of big help. People can breathe much easier than with these face masks that we actually need to wear as well. And so this will be a good addition. You will find it from tomorrow on the Haimer website. Feel free to ask your Haimer representative, and we will be happy to help you out with this. It's also for office and not only for production, but this one here is made by Haimer here in Germany, highest quality of this plastic, and we will be happy to help everybody here during this crisis.
Okay, thank you, perfect. Let's see if we have some orders in the questionnaire or in the chat right now.
I hope so.
Yes, what I can see is that there are a lot of thank yous, a lot of well done. So thank you guys for the very nice presentation. I think this is a really interesting topic this week, but we will provide you with more interesting topics from the Haimer world And yes, we are your system partner around the machine tool, so much more to discuss in our webinars. Dear participants, you will have the opportunity to ask remaining questions once again by filling in a short questionnaire. I mentioned it. It will open on your display as soon as I close the webinar. Our team will answer your open questions as soon as possible. Of course, as Tobias said, we will keep you informed about upcoming Haimer Academy webinars on our website, in our newsletter, Haimer Info, and on social media. Register to our newsletter, Haimer Info, if you want to have a personal invitation into your mailbox, so you won't miss our webinars, that's for sure. Thank you for your big interest in our webinar today, Haimer Shrinking Technology, one system for all applications. Feel free to write us your feedback, suggestions, ideas for the next webinars. See you at the next Haimer Academy webinar. I wish you all the best. Our team says thank you. And yes, thanks to our experts. We say goodbye and yeah, keep in touch with Haimer, your system partner around the machine tool. See you bye at the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay healthy.
With a shield.
Yeah, with our shield.